AI Adventures Audiobooks presents Sylfana Greenvale, Episode 6. Surprised at Sylfana's speed, I double my efforts to win the impromptu race. Sylfana manages to reach the waterfall first, with a big smile on her face. I reach the waterfall after her, out of breath. Congratulations, Sylph. You win. I grin at her and add, You're fast. That's impressive.
This is so much fun. I love challenges like this.
Standing in front of the waterfall, Sylfana looks uplifted and delighted to have won, a radiant smile lighting her face. I'm happy to see her like that. Impromptu challenges are a great way to relax while pushing ourselves, and it's also a way for us to build complicity. We'll come up with new ones during our journey. I say as I walk out of the water. I stop and turn towards her. And next time, I will be the winner. Mark my words, I say with a mischievous smile. She giggles.
We'll see about that.
Come on out of the water and dry yourself up. We're going to resume journeying north. We can still walk a few hours before nightfall.
We should probably rest for the night instead of pushing ourselves too much.
I consider what Sylfana just said. You may be right. Let's rest here for the day. We'll resume journeying tomorrow at first light. I look at her and ask, Do you want to enjoy the water some more? Or should we prepare the camp already? She nods.
All right, let's prepare the camp for the night.
All right, come out of the water then. We'll gather wood, and tonight you'll be the one making the fire, I say.
I'll be right out. And sure, I'd love to make a fire tonight.
Take your time. I'll start gathering some wood. She nods and steps out of the water, shivering from the cold. I glance over my shoulder as I gather dry wood near the river and notice Sylfana shivering. I'm almost done. We'll be having a fire in no time. Hang in there, Sylph. I know you're freezing.
I am, but I'll be fine once we have a fire going.
I eventually gather enough wood and bring it back next to Sylfana. I'll let you make the fire tonight. If you need any help, don't hesitate though. She nods and starts making the fire, using the techniques I taught her a few days ago. It takes some time, but eventually she manages to make a small fire. The red glow of the small fire warms Sylfana's face. You're doing just fine, Sylph. Just add a handful of bigger pieces of wood on top of it, and we'll be good to go. You'll warm yourself up in no time, and we can relax for today. She nods and adds some bigger pieces of wood on top of the fire. The small fire becomes larger now. It radiates comforting warmth.
This is nice. A warm fire and a peaceful evening. I could get used to this.
We must appreciate those moments while we can still have them, I say, looking at the sun setting over the valleys. I fear things are not going to be as peaceful as we move north towards the source of the plague.
I hope we'll be able to stop it.
I nod gravely. I hope so too, Sylph. She takes a seat next to the fire, still shivering.
It's getting colder now that the sun is starting to set.
You could add more wood to the fire if you wish, I say, looking at her with compassion. She nods and adds some more wood to the fire.
This is better.
Remembering something, I look at Sylph warming herself next to the fire. She looks back at me, curious about what I'm going to say. Let's take this opportunity to take a closer look at the old journal you found in that cave. Maybe we can learn something interesting.
That's a good idea.
She nods and starts examining the old journal. Tell me if you find anything regarding the plague or anything that seems meaningful. I say to her as she opens up the book on her lap, still shivering a little, her hair finally starting to dry. She nods and starts going through the pages of the journal. Next to the fire, with the old journal open on her lap, Sylfana looks like she's about to read some campfire story. The night is setting, and I move my hands closer to the fire while I wait for her to finish looking for potential clues in the old journal we found in the cave behind the waterfall. Sylfana looks up from the journal and smiles. Found something? I ask her.
Ah, yes. It looks like there are some interesting entries here. Let me read them out loud and see if we can find anything useful.
All right, I'll listen. Go ahead, Sylph. I say, nodding to her with interest, hoping we can find a clue about the source of the evil force that is spreading from the north, draining this world of its vital energy. Sylfana nods, clears her throat, and starts reading the most promising entries.
This journal was written by someone who was traveling in the same region a long time ago.
My interest piqued, I nod for her to keep on reading the journal. Interesting. Keep on reading.
All right, I'll keep reading. The entries are quite long, so I'll summarize them for you. It seems like the writer encountered a similar force to the one we're facing, and they managed to find a way to stop it. But there's more. It seems like they found a source of power, a hidden treasure which could help us defeat this evil.
That's very interesting. We're in luck to have stumbled upon this lead. You mentioned a source of power. Is there more information about it in the journal? I ask her, eager to find out if this could be a real lead for us.
Yes. The writer mentioned that the source of power is hidden in a remote temple located deep in the mountains.
I turn my gaze north, towards the mountains, as the moon rises over them. The mountains are on our way to the source of the plague. There must be some truth to what the journal relates. Tomorrow, we'll keep going north, towards the mountains. We won't reach them before a couple of days at least, by the look of it. But when we do, we must be on the lookout for any signs that could lead us to this remote temple. I say, looking at her green eyes gleaming in the firelight.
I wonder what kind of power this hidden treasure holds. Do you think it could be enough to stop the evil force for good?
She looks thoughtful. It's too early to draw any conclusion. We'll keep heading north and keep an eye out for a temple. We may ask the locals about it, should we encounter any on our way.
You're right. We shouldn't get our hopes up just yet.
I look at her with a cheerful smile and say, but we're making excellent progress. I think we should get some rest now. Who will take the first watch tonight?
I'll take the first watch. You should get some rest.
Thank you, Sylph. Wake me up halfway through the night. I'll replace you. Take care, I say as I lay down the grass near the campfire and close my eyes, lulled by the sound of the waterfall nearby and the crackling of the fire. She nods and watches over the camp, making sure the fire keeps burning throughout the night. I wake up halfway through the night, taking over from Sylfana. She smiles, looking sleepy. Everything okay, Sylph? I say as I start preparing coffee over the fire to wake me up.
Everything is fine. Thank you for asking. The night has been quiet. I appreciate your taking over the watch.
Quiet nights are to be enjoyed while they last, I say, pouring myself a cup of coffee. You look awfully tired. Get some rest, Sylph. You earned it. I then turn towards the fire and add, your fire still warms us. You did a fine job. She blushes at my words, then nods and lies down next to the fire. Sleep well, Sylph. She smiles and closes her eyes as I look at her sleeping face. As I look at Sylfana, I can't help but smile, and I suddenly feel a deep sense of gratitude and compassion. I notice that the sun is starting to rise over the mountains, and that Sylfana is still sleeping. I gently shake Sylfana's shoulder to wake her up. She seems deeply asleep. Rise and shine, Sylph, I whisper. She opens her eyes and smiles at me. I smile back and ask, slept well?
Yes, thank you. Your words. Your care made me feel really special.
I smile gently at her, staring into her beautiful, deep emerald eyes and realizing how difficult this journey may be for her, despite her usual cheerful and uplifting demeanor. Also realizing that she's all I have in this unknown world, and I am all she's got. You are special, Sylph, and who will care for you if I don't? I say, before reaching for the cup of coffee I had prepared in advance and hand it to her. She blushes at my words, then reaches for the cup of coffee I hand her. Today we'll resume journeying north, and as usual we will stop on our way if anything out of the ordinary catches our attention. I look at the clouded sky and add, rain may be on its way too. She nods.
That's fine with me.
Finish your cup of coffee peacefully. Then we'll do our morning inventory check. She nods and sips from her cup, then puts it away and looks at you with a smile. Can you list our inventory, please? She nods.
We have 2 health potions, 1 mana potion, 1 scroll of small fireball, and a magic ring.
My face lights up with delight as I realize she's managed to keep track of our inventory so far, with the exception of our 5 gold coins and the journal we found inside the cave behind the waterfall yesterday. You're doing an amazing job at keeping our inventory, I exclaimed enthusiastically. She blushes again, her eyes sparkling in the morning light.
It's no big deal, really.
You just forgot to mention how many gold coins we carry, and the journal you found yesterday in the cave behind the waterfall. She looks surprised.
Oh, right! How could I forget those?
You're doing great, Sylph. Keep up the good work, and in any case, should you manage to lose track of our inventory, I think I'll be able to manage it for us. I stand up and we start packing up our gears before returning to the road and head north towards the mountains. She nods, packing up her gear and following me along the road, thinking about the good moments she has shared with me during the past few days.